While in the process of coming up with an idea for a horror film opening, we thought about ways in which we could capture the audience attention right from the beginning instead of sort of gradually building them into it. Having studied the film Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock, I learnt to appreciate that the mise-en-scene was very important. And a good example of this was from Psycho, and this is where we see there is a low angle shot of Norman Bates with a bird of prey behind him, which makes him seem very, very dominant. And as Marion is in the room as well, it could imply that she is his next victim. We wanted to use something similar to this in our opening, but in our own way, so not obviously using a bird of prey. We realised that when we were filming, Harry walked past a danger sign that was on a fence, so we set up the camera and filmed a shot of her walking past it and then zoomed slightly into the sign. And obviously this would symbolise to the audience that something foreboding is going to happen to her in the near future. We wanted to maximise the fear and anxiety within the audience, and to do so by creating a very tense and eerie atmosphere which would keep the audience very interested and eager to find out what was actually going to happen. As a class, we looked at many horror films the openings of horror films, and in groups of about 4 or 5, we did a presentation on our own chosen horror film opening, and commenting on the mise-en-scene, editing, sound, and camera angles, like camera work. In our group of 4, me, Ben, Toby, and George, we chose to present on Silence of the Lambs. We felt this was a very good opening because it was quite fast-paced and sort of upbeat and immediately gripped the viewer's attentions, which predominantly is what we wanted to achieve with our film. We also took notes on other presentations, which helped us get a better understanding on the different types of openings there could be, and there are a few. It was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which opened up, and it was it was slowly like build suspense, and then something would happen. The things I took most from these other opening sequences was firstly the diegetic sounds. In pretty much all of the films we watched, the music played a massive part in setting the scene and creating a good atmosphere. And I thought when we were doing ours, it was really important to get the sound right. And as our opening scene started off with the party, the non-diegetic music playing is the typical sort of song genre that you would expect to be playing at a party, with sort of quite a deep and heavy bass. But as the film goes on, the music gets a bit sort of more darker and more tense, which is very typical in a horror film, because when danger is on the horizon, deep, dark, and sort of eerie, scary music starts to play. Another shot we found from Psycho was during the murder scene, in which a shot from the plug hole is dissolved, like faded into a zooming out high angle shot of Marion's. It comes out of her eye when she's lying dead on the floor, and I thought we could relate to this because I found it to be a very, very effective shot because it shows the cold, lifeless soul lying left on the floor. Like I just said, we wanted to relate it to this shot, well, to Psycho as well in our film, and we did this in a different way because obviously didn't want to make it the same again. We did the reverse. Instead of going from the plug hole to the eye, we went from Harry's dead, lifeless face on the floor after she had been murdered, and then to a quick jump cut of her waking up in bed. And personally, I found this to be really effective because you feel very sympathetic for the character, because as it's just the opening of the film, you feel she has no reason to have died, and this leaves you questioning and thinking to yourself that has she actually done anything wrong, and that we as an audience don't actually know about. We not only wanted to use Psycho, but there were many other films that influenced as well. We took points from Silence of the Lambs, and this is the bit in our film when Harry is walking from the party. We wanted to include things in the image that symbolised that she was in danger. Similar to the danger sign mentioned earlier, but we also wanted to possibly include the colours and the connotation of colours. As we all know, that obviously red is sort of you symbolise red as being linked to blood and death. This is where we got the idea from Silence of the Lambs, because when Clarice first actually goes down to meet Hannibal Lecter, there is a glaze of red light which is used to represent the danger that she's about to embark on. We use this idea in R1 when Harry is walking deliberately past red objects, so that we had a red traffic light and we had the red from the back of the car. And we wanted to do this just so, instead of just it being dark and thing, we just a red light that sort of shone out and exposed.